In this video, we will be talking about what transhumanism is and its potential effects on society. Now, before we can start, I bet that not many people even know what transhumanism is. So before I can start talking about my topic in detail, I must explain what transhumanism is. Transhumanism is the study of the means and obstacles to humanity using technological and other rational means to becoming posthuman, and the ethical issues that are involved in this. It was founded in the 1930s by a futurist who called himself FM 2032. He thought of the word transitional human to refer to beings that were more evolved than current humans now. The word transhuman is short for that. Transhumanists now refer to beings that are more evolved than current humans as posthumans, which literally mean after humans. Some groups are formed that wholeheartedly believe in this idea of transcending humanity. For example, the Singularitarians are working on bringing about the technological singularity. Transhumanists have four assumptions as to what a posthuman is. The first assumption is that material things do not matter as much as informational patterns. The second assumption is that they believe there is no immaterial soul. The third assumption is that they believe the body should be a prosthesis, and a prosthesis is an artificial limb, such as an arm, leg, or breast implant. And the fourth assumption is the view that human beings can be seamlessly articulated with intellectual machines. The posthuman goal is to live unnoticeably within the environment of humans. Now that you know what transhumanism is, it is time to talk about what this video is really about. What does this idea of transcending humanity have to do with the society, humans in general, and the Catholic Church? To start off, I will be talking about how it affects the public. Now, this does not necessarily go with transhumanism, but it's a statement I need to make, so hear me out. I don't believe that many people know what the Human Genome Project is, but basically, it's a massive effort to decode the entire DNA sequence of a human being. The need of this project is to help identify what a human being is on a genetic level and help answer questions about diseases that are recessive and are passed down from generation to generation. It also helps in answering questions about what genes cause hair, eye, and skin color. The United States and other countries are funding this project in hopes of success in finding an answer. So what does this have to do with transhumanism? Well, let me put it this way. If the United States was willing to fund the project of figuring out the sequence of a human being, then that means that the government is interested in humans, how we work, and what makes us, us. Now, with knowing that information, the government might wonder as to how to make this country better and the people in it better through any means necessary. And this would be their answer. The U.S. National Science Foundation, together with the U.S. Department of Commerce, has initiated a major program for converging several technologies for the express purpose of enhancing humans. The project was called the NBIC, standing for Nanotechnology, Biotechnologies, Information Technologies, and Cognitive Technologies. And examples of cognitive technologies would be cybernetics and neurotechnologies. The benefits of these projects are applicable to many fields of life. The medical field would benefit by knowing more efficient and effective options for patients that are terminally ill. Something that was proposed in one of the books I was reading was that in the future, a doctor could have a chip in their brain that could allow them to access patient files when he needs them, instead of having to go to his own files or computer and search through the thousands of entries that are in the hospital's database. Another proposed idea in the same book would be militaristically, in the fact that soldiers would be enhanced to be better equipped for whatever environment they are assigned to. So how does this affect the public? Well, to start off, the government will look at these devices, treatments, or whatever is being done, and see if whether they are doing well in their fields. If they are, this might lead to the government to allow for suppliers to sell their products to the public. So now that these enhancements are outside in the hands of society, it's anyone's game as to who gets enhanced the most. While this is going on, there will be people who will either not care or will not be able to afford these enhancements. In this environment, there will come a time where those who are not enhanced will get left behind. This will lead to people who received enhancements deciding whether those who were not enhanced should be considered human, since they are the minority. If I could, I would like to reference the show Shin Sekai Yori. In this anime, they have the plot where people have inherited this psychic power. While there are humans who do not have the psychic power, the higher-ups are deciding to choose whether to change the genes of the humans so that people are able to differentiate who are humans and who are Bake Nezumi, meaning monster rats. The humans in this anime were injected with the gene for mole rats so that people can tell the difference. This will cause great havoc and confusion to all of society and could lead to drastic changes in their future. The people of this world will have to address what it means to be human, which include what human rights, dignity, and nature is. So to start this part of the video, we have to go over what makes up a human. Now that question is difficult because we would have to go over the genetic and biological means, and then the ideas of the soul and conscience. But luckily in this video, I'll just be talking about the immaterial, basic stuff. So first, what are human rights? The Catholic worldview of human rights are that they are given to us by God through Scripture and our instinctive nature. We learn from these two things what is good and bad, with our goal to be with God Himself. These rights that we have been taught from the Bible tell us what we can and cannot do, and how to go about our lives as children of God. For someone who is not religious, the best way to explain what human rights are would be from this book, Our Posthuman Future, where the author states that rights are the basis of our liberal, democratic political order and key to contemporary thinking about moral and ethical issues. These definitions explain what human rights are. So how do they affect posthumans? Remember that a posthuman is a being that has transcended humanity, the humanity which God created. If they have been successful in transcending humanity, then that means that they are no longer created in the image of God. So in terms of what humans' rights apply to, posthumans would no longer be able to acknowledge or respect what human rights are, making them useless to them. Ethical issues to posthumans more than likely differ to what ethical issues are for humans today. So in turn, posthumans do not care for the ethical issues of humans and do not care for the second definition that I have provided for human rights. The next thing that makes up a human is their dignity. The dictionary definition of dignity is that it is a sense of pride in oneself or respect. So how are humans worthy of this dignity that has been given to them? Well, in the book, Life, Liberty, and the Defense of Dignity, states that dignity is something that all humans possess even if they do not deserve it. But what makes us different from having dignity than, say, other beings on this planet, such as primates or any other animal? The difference is that we have an intelligence and conscience that helps us judge what is right and wrong. So in a sense, we are above all other beings in this world and have been given this dignity to show for it. Dignity also allows for us to have a sense of identity, so that we can recognize the dignity that is in others. So how do posthumans not have human dignity? Posthumans may not have the same sense of respect for their fellow posthumans than we have for our fellow humans. Their respect is more than likely different from ours, since they might only think about how they must become stronger and better than humans, and not worry that much for others. They might not respect each other as posthumans because they would be too absorbed in themselves, or might not even notice or understand what respect is anymore. The last thing that I have to talk about that makes up a human being is their nature. So the dictionary definition of nature is the characteristics, personality, and behavior of a person. And the definition given to me from Our Posthuman Future is that human nature is the sum of behavior and characteristics that are typical of the human species, arising from genetic rather than environmental factors. So basically, they are the same definition, but in the second one, it is stated that it is through genetics, not the environment, that produces human nature. All beings on this earth have a certain nature, and human nature is what differentiates humans from other animals on this earth. Something else that is different in humans than other beings on this earth is our way of survival. We learn at a very small age the meaning of companionship and how it can help us on our way of surviving this world to the best of our ability. In the words of Karl Marx, man is a species being. That is, human beings have altruistic feelings toward the human species as a whole. We know that to survive this world, we need a partner or companion to help us along the way for when we struggle. From our post-human future, human nature does not dictate a single, precise list of rights. It is both complex and flexible as it interacts with various natural and technological environments. This book just shows that with our human nature, we are able to adapt to any environmental and technological change. So for posthumans, they did indeed have a human nature before they became posthuman. But what differs is that what was done to them could have changed their way of thinking about others. They might not feel altruistic feelings toward other posthumans, since their goal is to be better than the rest of humanity. They would more than likely not feel the need to find a companion to accompany them on their journey of surviving. Another thing is that there will come a time when a posthuman's environment may not be optimal for them, and this will cause for posthumans to adapt to their environment's changes. Now, with human nature, humans will be able to adapt because their nature allows them to. But for posthumans, it will be much more difficult since they lost theirs when they became posthuman. They could change as many parts as they can to try and be optimal for the new environment, but they would still be stuck in their last environment, making it impossible for them to completely adapt to their new one. Now that we are done with what makes up a human and how posthumans are not able to comply, we must go into the Catholic Church teachings and what they think about transhumanism. So for starters, know that the Church does not have any documents that strictly address their views on transhumanism, but they do have documents in scientific research. Also know that the Church does not hate scientific research. In fact, the Church praises it, as long as it does not defy with the principles that they put down. The Church believes that human life starts with the family, with a bond between the father and the mother. Human life is seen as pure and good in the eyes of the Church, since all people were created in God's image. In the terms of scientific research and genetic engineering, the Church believes that it should only be used for therapeutic purposes, and on any other research that does not affect the life of the person. According to the Church, anyone who tries to create a new type of human being is trying to replace God in the title, the Creator. So for transhumanism, it differs with many of the things that I just said. First, they believe that the life of a posthuman does not start until a human has been given enhancements to make him better than an average human. Transhumanists view humanity as no good and needs fixing. Transhumanists are saying that what God created in his own image is not good and needs fixing. This is a direct insult to God, saying that he is not good and needs fixing. Genetic engineering to enhance the human is not for therapeutic use. It may affect the life of the person. So, transhumanism is more than likely against the Catholic Church. Now, since most of this video we have been on the side of why transhumanism is bad for everyone, let's switch sides and see how transhumanism is seen as a benefit to others. A transhumanist goal is to be more evolved than the current human being through means of biomedicine and technological advances. They do have rules and guidelines as to how far they can get in their research and experimentation of achieving a posthuman state. The Nuremberg Code is a law that experimenters follow every time experiments are conducted. These codes forbid any human experimentation that could lead to death or disabling injury. The codes also require that the subject has given consent to the experimenter to do what is needed for research. People are given the chance to opt out of experiments that they believe might harm them. Werner Vinge is a believer of the transhumanist movement. He believes that there will be an exponential increase in scientific and technological knowledge that will lead to the destabilization of social structures. Now that we have seen the view of the other side, we must point some things out. First, even though the Nuremberg Code does exist to ensure the safety of subjects that are in those experiments, the use of the experiment is not for therapeutic uses. Second, the idea that science and technology will increase so much that it is a hazard to the structure of society is a little far-fetched, in the fact that humans have been able to adapt to changes in their environment that are either environmental or technological because of their human nature. So in conclusion, what should you take away from this? 1. You should know what transhumanism is, and that is the study of the means and obstacles to humanity using technological and other rational means to becoming posthuman, and the ethical issues that are involved in this. 2. Note what could happen to society if it were to come to the public view, which would be very bad and might lead to people questioning what is humanity. 3. Know what makes up a human and how posthumans do not fit these definitions, which are human dignity, which is a sense of pride in oneself or respect, human rights, which is something that was given to us by God, and a liberal democratic political order and key to contemporary thinking about moral and ethical issues, and human nature, which is the sum of behavior and characteristics that are typical of the human species, arising from genetic rather than environmental factors. 4. Know what the church views are on it, which is that transhumanism more than likely does not comply with the church teachings, even if it is not explicitly stated in any documents. And 5. Expect to see changes in the near future that might resemble the goal of what transhumanism is, and question whether you need it or not.